Bamwosa, Bamwosa.
Hey guys, here we are in Willow Creek. I am going to be starting my video series on editing. I'm editing every single lot in The Sims. And I will be adding my custom families to this. I've already went through and deleted any of the previous families that existed. And we'll be working on getting rid of the older houses and putting in my own versions of them. So my goal with this is to kind of get more experience building. I've been building for, I don't know, I've been playing Sims since The Sims 1, so you think I'd be a little more experienced than I am, but throughout the series I do use custom content. All of my custom content is taken from the Sims resource. I usually try to avoid sites like Tumblr and all that stuff. So I'll be building this house, and then I'll be building the family that is associated with this house. So here we are, we're starting to build like the main living room or family room. This style house is going to be like a country style. So pretty simple, old-fashioned looking house, maybe with a few modern aspects inside of it. I do spend quite some time on the living room area. I don't know why, but I did. So, a couple things. If you like my videos, definitely subscribe. We currently have every single expansion pack and game pack that you can have with The Sims, so we're waiting on the next release, which I hope is University, because I think that was probably my favorite game pack or expansion pack in The Sims 3, and the only reason why I might play The Sims 3 still, aside from the open world aspect. So we're going through trying to find some end tables here. Just trying to find some really filler furniture for the house. I'm thinking probably a 4-bedroom house. I usually like to make each house themed. I saw that somebody had posted a map that sort of organizes each of the neighborhoods a little differently into like a world view. So it makes a little more sense where these neighborhoods are located and whatnot. So, for example, I think I was at Oasis Springs. I like to make it more like a Latin theme, like concrete stucco houses, all that stuff. Well, I haven't really played too much in this particular neighborhood. Probably because it's just like the starter neighborhood that you get. I'm not a huge fan of it. But we're going to go back through and incorporate it into our game, especially because I plan on having a really high sim count in this. Let's see here. We have a few things that came up in this. There's the kitchen. Kitchens are really difficult to make for me at least, when there's a lot of curves or angles in the wall, so I had to go through and kind of change some things after. You'll see me messing around with a few of the designs here. But I think for a good kitchen it needs to be almost like a rectangular shape, not this weird clover shape that you see here. But again, I'm just kind of, trying to regain some experience in building and all that good stuff. So while that happens, this is my first video, so Please be gentle on the commentary if you have one. I'm definitely always open to feedback on my builds. I think I've uploaded about 25 watts to the gallery so far. And my most recent one, I know it might not seem like a lot, but has had about 200 downloads. So that's a lot for me at this point so far. So that's why I decided to start maybe, starting to stream these and, get these on YouTube and whatnot. Especially since I didn't realize there was such a large user base for older people who might have, started with The Sims 1 or The Sims 2. I just actually joined a group on Facebook, the Sims Elite. And I was actually shocked to find out so many older people were playing this. So that was probably my main motivation, to know that I'm not alone playing this game as an adult, because it's still a lot of fun for me. It's definitely a good pastime. Time just seems to fly by. Here, I mess up a little bit on the rooms, which I'm still getting used to. How the rooms work in the Sims 4, because on the outside you saw that the room was still associated with the kitchen, even though I drew a wall through it. So we're just kind of getting used to practicing with all that the Sims 4 has to offer. And this, I did not use the Terrian editor tool. I'm still trying to get used to that, as many of us are. I've made a few okay lots with it, but I started to have problems with floors and, stairs. For example, I had taken the Terrian editor tool down to a lower level, and it prevented me from adding a second story to the house because of how low the Terrian was. So, or the Terrian terrain. But because of how low it was, I couldn't add a second floor. So I'm still kind of working with it. I haven't built that much, but I have a 11-year-old stepdaughter, actually, who I just got into The Sims. So I've been kind of trying to learn how to build better. That way, she can borrow some lots and she can also start building. So that was my main kind of motivation behind that. So I like the white cabinets in the kitchen, especially when you're talking about like a country house. Here I'm just trying to find some clutter to kind of fill in the open areas of the house. I really like that wallpaper though. I'm not a huge fan of the Sims 4 wallpapers. I'm usually like a paint person. So when The Sims 4 first was released, there was more wallpaper than anything else, and that was kind of a huge turnoff for me. I stopped playing The Sims 4 for a while, for a couple reasons. There was that. There was, after Get to Work got released, I got back into it, but it wasn't worth it for me. So I've kind of gone back and forth between actually playing this game and not playing it. But this wallpaper, and I actually don't even think it's wallpaper, I think it's tile, is my favorite. I'm getting used to the wallpaper thing. It's not easy. So over in this next room, you saw that empty room next to it. This whole room was supposed to be a kitchen, but then I decided that is a way too big of a kitchen for this house. It's, it's supposed to be a small little country home, so I'm trying to figure out what to do with this room next to it. I'm thinking it's just going to be like a little family room or little activity room, that type of thing. So, yeah, we'll see what I put in here. Alright, an organ. The reason I decided to do the organ instead of a piano was because a lot of the houses that I used to build did not have organs in them. You know, a lot of houses that you download, unless you're playing with the vampires pack, they usually don't have an organ in them. So it's its own skill, so I decided to incorporate that into this little country home, especially because in a lot of places, especially some of the older churches that I've been to, or the countryside churches, you know, small 25 people churches, they usually all have an organ. And I had an organ growing up, so I thought it was a cute little thing to put into this home. I'm going to copy, actually, I think I decided not to reuse that backsplash in the bathroom. I try not to be repetitive throughout the house. I have a lot of problems with that, such as like using the same flooring throughout the entire house, although some floor plans call for it. I like to try to make it a little different. As you can see, I didn't do a good job here. Maybe I could have put some carpet in the living room or something along those lines, but that's okay. So we're going to decorate the bathroom, and in the bathrooms, usually I put countertops. I don't like the single sinks. A lot of houses don't have single sinks unless it's a one and a half, you know, or a half bathroom where there's not a lot of room in there. So I really try to avoid the sinks that are in plumbing and use a counter. That way, you know, bathroom storage and whatnot, makes it feel more realistic to me. We'll put a medicine cabinet in there. With these houses, I'm really going to try to be detailed. Sometimes in the builds that I make for other Sims in the past, will go through and make sure there's no wall out because it just takes a little bit longer. This whole build took about an hour and 20 minutes for me. Now, I'm not sure comparatively if that's a long time or not, because most of the builds that we watch are speed builds and all that stuff, but this is just something that I'm trying to do. That way all my Sims have nice houses that they live in. They have realistic finances. You'll see once I get in there, some of these guys will have certain skill sets already on them, I guess. But we'll go through and we'll make the family once the house is done. So here's my little family room. I think it's just a cute little place to just hang out, or just kind of a filler room, to be honest. So upstairs is going to be where all the bedrooms are, and like I said, I wanted to try to make each house have 3 to 4 bedrooms in it to support the amount of children that they'll be reproducing. It's just cringy when I go visit a house in The Sims 4 and they have like 5 kids and 1 full-size bed, and so that's what I'm trying to avoid in this game, is to give it more of a realistic aspect. And plus, if I want to play one of these families, I can easily just jump into the gameplay rather than reworking the house to what I prefer. So these houses will be available, and then of course once the people move out, I can just re-download the lot. That way I won't have to redecorate or anything like that. It'll just be all fully furnished again. Another thing that I like to do is put some of the hidden objects in. You'll kind of see that I lay it out for the family in the front. That way they each have a camera. Some of them will have streaming equipment. Some of them will have void critters. I like to try and give all the kids void critters. That way it's just something cute. I don't really play with or do that unless, I don't know, I guess I just don't, but I think it's a cute little aspect to the game that they added in. So since I added the second story, I needed to go back and fix some of the lighting downstairs, and for some reason my staircase disappeared. So I'm gonna fix all of that. I think that most of the houses that I've lived in do not have overhead lighting, so I really wanted to bring that aspect in here, except for I have a chandelier in the kitchen and those two lights that hang over, but I did incorporate it upstairs just because it's harder to find places to place lights in kids' rooms. You know, the master is easy. You can have two side tables and then you can just add lights, but for me, I wanted to do it a little differently. Plus, I want to have a certain uniqueness to each house. We'll see how well that goes. I tend to have the same build style, so we're gonna try to do some new things throughout here. So this room on the right is going to be the nursery. The room on the left and there's going to be a bathroom up here, and the other rooms will be just regular bedrooms. This room will be the master. I also tend to have an issue with room sizes. So I know that Simmers like big room sizes and all that stuff, but I'm trying to really look at what an actual room size is in a home. So I know that like a lot of houses don't have these little curves in them, but I thought it was cute. So like I said, I'm trying to make it more realistic than anything. So here we are. We're going to start decorating the master bedroom. You'll have to excuse my mouse. It drives away by itself. So the master, oh, there's a lamp in the bed. Oops. Hopefully I got rid of that. If not, we'll have a very light bed. Okay, it doesn't look like it's there anymore. I love these. With the addition, I forgot what expansion pack those came on, or game pack. Glamour Life? No, I can't remember. I love those though. I don't use them that often, but they're good to have around when you want to start dressing up your sim, or, you know, if you're really just... Usually I play with large families, so I don't have the one-on-one time with the sim, but if you have one-on-one time with the sim, I'm not sure if they use this. It's automatically. Sorry, I have two dogs. Hello? Okay, so that was just my husband coming home, really, randomly. But for me, since I just had surgery, so he's home. So we're working on the top, and something I forgot to incorporate in this build was a laundry room. So that's just gonna have to go at the top of the stairs, putting it in there somewhere. At least I'll be able to do laundry. Plus, I mean, laundry rooms are overrated anyway, aren't they? So I add a little bit of clutter on top, and like I said, I use a ton of custom content in here. Usually I download by the sets, so you'll see a lot of that throughout. I try to, in some of these, make sure that it's limited to just decoration items rather than build items, because that can be super frustrating when you download them off the gallery and you can't go through a door because it was a custom content door. So I tried to avoid that, especially in this house. So I think most of the custom content you'll see is just going to be on decoration items. Maybe some beds. I don't think so though. So this is the little nursery. I put 2 beds in there. In my head I was going to have 2 toddlers, but I did not. And then I also put a baby crib in there just in case they do for some reason have a baby, even though on the command center I'll make sure that it says a 4-kid max limit per household, so people aren't making babies like crazy. But it's a cute little old-fashioned nursery with that wallpaper or paneling. I'm not sure. I don't remember what that was. So the next room we will work on, I believe, is the boys' room. Once we get through some of these decorations in the nursery. I did add that void critter machine. I'll put it out in the garage though because there's just not enough room in these rooms, which like I said are going to be more realistically sized to an actual bedroom. Even though I know the rooms in my house you would find a hard time fitting 2 beds and a desk in it, so maybe they are a little bigger than what an actual bedroom is. That's okay. So we're going to put a desk in here for the boys. I like to put desks without computers. That way they have a place to do homework even though they don't usually use it because they don't usually go right up to their bedroom after school. So we're going to kind of make this generic where there's 2 beds in each room. 2 beds for the boys, 2 beds for the girls, and you'll kind of see that theme throughout this whole rebuilding series of houses. Hopefully it doesn't take us too long, but I've read some blogs on other people doing this, and I've heard it could take months to do a complete rebuild, so we won't actually get to dive in and play with some of these families until we're all rebuilt and have some really cool things going on. So some random posters, and those are some of the hidden objects. So here is the family. Their last name is going to be Whims, and here's my build on the gallery. It's Clermont Way. So we do quite a few modifications for the adult mom in this. My initial thought was to make her a little overweight and have her husband leave her and he's in a different place in the game, but that changed once I made the family and decided they were pretty cute together, so. I was also going to have her have orange hair, but for some reason I don't like children with orange hair, so I changed my mind, and maybe we'll incorporate that later with a different family. But for this one, I'm playing with some of the skin details, so again with the custom content, I really do like the skin details, but it's important for you to take them off just to look at how your sim really looks without them. Because I've noticed that some of them can be quite a difference in how they look. She's eventually gonna be blonde. Yeah, there we go. Blonde hair. I have a lot of broken custom content in here too for Create a Sim, so do note that I need to go through and clean out some of my folders. I'm trying to keep my folders pretty organized as far as categories go, but when it comes to clothing and stuff like that, I just wish there was the little icon that appeared above it when you scrolled over it to tell you the name of the file. That way you can just go through and delete that custom content folder or file, but it does not do that for us. So Amelia Whims is going to be a family-oriented mother. I wanted to make her like a single mom working really hard to support 4 kids, but now she's just going to be a stay-at-home mom who can cook and who can bake and help with homework or whatever she needs to do to support her little family. Her husband will be the one that works, and we'll probably put him in programming or something along those lines. And for some reason, genetically in this family, in their formal wear, they all have this hat. I don't know why they like that hat so much, but it's a genetic thing you'll see with the kid. So with the families, I'm going to make sure that they all have jewelry on. They're all really customized to my liking. I'm not going to upload the families on the gallery because then with the custom content, you know, they're just going to come back bald, so, or naked. And we don't want either of those, so there's no point in uploading it since I do use most of my custom content in Creative Sim. She's got some, I think she's a pretty sim. So, and you'll see how her daughter turns out once we get to her. Her husband is kind of interesting. So we'll go through, we're putting jewelry and all the stuff I never do on her. Only because it just takes that much. And I wanted to go through and do tattoos and stuff, but for some reason I forgot about doing that before I exited Creative Sim. So we're on her cold weather. And with custom content, you'll see that some of these outfits aren't made for cold weather. Don't know why they're classified as cold weather, so we'll just have her wear a hoodie. Even though it snows like crazy in this town. So, gonna create her attributes. She super parent, family oriented, she's a dog lover, and she's neat because she needs to keep the house clean. So now we'll move on to her husband. And he is gonna have a lot of the same attributes. At least the family one, family oriented. So I had to randomize because that one was really hard to work with. And usually I don't change or alter these too much, but I wanted to really customize these. So you'll see quite a few alterations on his face. Hopefully, if the camera picked it up. Men are just really complicated for me in Creative Sim. And I wanted to try and get rid of those bags underneath of his eyes because he looks exhausted and he just looks, he looks a little strange right now. I don't know why their faces automatically default. They get very fat around the cheekbones. So I usually try and bring those in on mostly everybody. For some reason, as you can see, his nose is not that weird, but their children have the strangest nose thing going on. So I had to be really selective of who they genetically created because I didn't want that ugly nose to continue. So he's just going to be this laid back programmer who, I mean, he looks kind of feminine, but that's okay. So, pick out some shoes. And the only accessories I really added for him, oh, there's that hat again. The only accessories I really picked out for him were watches and whatnot, because he doesn't, I don't usually put like earrings and necklaces on the guys, unless they're in their swimsuits or not wearing shirts. Then I'll try to put a necklace on them, but that's the only time. I wish there was a body hair feature on here like there was in The Sims 3 as well, where you could choose the level of body hair they had, because right now it just looks like he is plain and skinless, or just smooth skin. So we'll do his winter wear and then we will create a child. So I think I randomized a few, and this is where I started to really notice the nose situation that we had. So here she is. Sophie. So Sophie, for some reason, is really thin, even though I don't think her mom is that thin. I mean, she's just got some... I tried to add hips onto her mom and all that stuff, and she just didn't really get any of that. So she's just this tiny, petite little girl. She'll take some of her mom's attributes, like her hair and all that stuff. And Sophie is going to want to be an actor. She's creative. She loves music. So she's just this kind of like country girl type of deal. And she's going to be working on her acting skill, which we will give her some acting and singing skills to begin with. That way she has something to work with. We also bought a guitar later on and put it in the house that she's living in. That way she can learn guitar. But she's going to be the oldest sister, and there's her top hat genetic. So we'll go through, we'll do some of her formal wear, and I really tried to keep her, so a lot of the outfits in here can look really revealing. So I really tried to keep her more modest looking, especially as a girl from, you know, a country type of household. Sometimes they can be more traditional and whatnot. So I really wanted to try to keep that with a mix of her being this modern high school. So for some reason, the rest of my Create a Sim was not recorded. So I did create a little sister, her kid sister there, her little brother, and then additionally little brother, toddler, and then they have 2 household pets as well. So this is the house completed and final. So if you like, please subscribe and let me know what you guys think. Thanks. Bye.